Belts are fastened. Lou Williams for the win. Bingo!
Oh my goodness.
By Landry, Ariza dropped down. Kobe! Oh! Up high! Down hard! Kobe Bryant!
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Kawhi aggressive to the rack.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to a pregame live here on Dime Dropper for the 2024-25 season. Before we get started, you know the drill. Make sure you follow on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod, although I haven't been on TikTok in a minute. And, of course, you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Make sure you subscribe to your boy on Locked On Clippers so you get more consistent. I know I've not been consistent just due to, all the circumstances. I don't have the same flexibility to record anymore, sadly. So until I move back in with my folks, then obviously when I move back in with my folks, it's going to be back to, trying to get a permanent place for myself. But at least moving back in with my folks, believe it or not, they stay up so late like me. It gives me that flexibility to record later, and then I can be a little bit more efficient with my Locked On and Dime Dropper content. This is embarrassing for me personally. I'm sorry to all you guys that I have not recorded a video since, I haven't done a live since we lost to Phoenix. It's been that long. So I'm excited to see. I haven't been able to catch my boy live in a minute. Thank you, King Charles. Comments are coming in right now. For those that are listening on audio, I'm going to just be reading the comments live because it'll be about a 40-minute live or so right before this game. Clippers and Knicks on Wednesday night. But, there's something about, I always want to make sure I've said something about each game on my channel. Obviously, this season, I won't be able to do that because there was such a big chunk that I didn't have. My boy Bones got busy. Shout out to him in the chat. Such a big chunk of the season that I didn't have covered on Dime Dropper or Locked On because of my house burning and all that. So this is just going to be an unfortunate stain on my 5th year of Dime Dropper content that I did not cover every Clipper game the same way. But, it had to take extreme circumstances to get to that point. Bones got busy. Says run vlog number 21 up to 1K. Yeah, every single vlog this season has gotten 1,000 views. This one, for whatever reason, really slow, even though I thought it was a really good vlog. OKC, big game down the stretch. I don't know why it hasn't been as high. It's at about 670, but thank you for Bones Got Busy to post the link in the chat. Go check that out later tonight or before this game. But we're going to be talking about the games that I did not talk about, honestly, and I'll give a 1-minute summary of each one. I cannot exceed a minute because I know nobody wants to hear about me talking about these older games, but I want to say something about it because it's right when, after my last live, we literally won 8 out of our last 10 games. So I haven't done a live talking about the Clippers in 10 games, which is really unfortunate and not what you want to see from me. So again, I really apologize, but let's go into it right now. It all began when I was at the game against the Pistons. Bones Got Busy. Please post a link to that vlog in the comments right now. The video against the Pistons when James Harden scored 50 points, because right around when that was happening, James was looking fatigued. It looked like we were getting to that point of the season that we were in last year in March, where he was getting tired. He has been carrying such a load all season long. And now, it's kind of getting to him. He had that rough close against the Suns, and we had 2 games against the Lakers where he was awful. And as a team, we just could not close the game. But then there was this Pistons game that I went to that we won 123-115 without Kawhi Leonard, without Norman Powell, without Derrick Jones Jr., played a 9-man rotation that involved Drew Eubanks, Jordan Miller, and Kobe Brown. And James Harden put the team on his back and had the only, and I've been to a lot of basketball games, Clipper Nation and ladies and gentlemen, the only 50-point game I've ever been to in my entire life. I have been to a lot of basketball games, but I have never been to a game somehow where a guy scored 50 points in a game until James Harden scored 50 in this game, in which the vlog link is right there from Bones Got Busy in the chat if you want to watch it. It was an insane performance by James, one of the highest scoring performances in Clipper history. Let's look at, and I've seen, obviously, Lou Williams score 50 points in 2018. And it was, I'm sorry, did I say 2015? In the 2017-18 season, Lou Williams scored 50 points against the Warriors. That's the highest scoring Clipper game I've seen besides this one. So Bob McAdoo scored 51, 52, and okay, he scored 51 and then 52 twice as a member of the Buffalo Braves. And I mean, Bob McAdoo's something else. You know what I mean? It's like we haven't gotten to that point of the dime line yet, but when we do, we will get footage of Bob McAdoo. I can promise you that. We'll break it down. But, and by the way, there's a lot of conversation. I just want to say this very quickly, and I emphasize very quickly. There's a lot of conversation being had about the 70s NBA and continuing to compare eras. And I always say to people, if they want to learn more about that stuff, check out my Dime Machine videos, because like I'm actually trying to put in the work, actually go back and watch the games and analyze and explain the differences in the game. So check out my Dime Machine playlist. Bones got busy. I'm sorry I keep asking you this, but this is why you're here, my friend. Link the Dime Machine playlist in the video in the comment section. The playlist of Dime Machine videos, because I'm going in order from Bill Russell's rookie year all the way down. If you go to my Twitter, my pinned tweet, it's literally the story of the NBA each year. I've done so much work there. So again, for people that actually want to learn and don't want to just debate, it's there for you to learn more. And then you'll probably be more, knowledgeable in these debates and realize how wrong things that players say are, including what LeBron said about Giannis in a hypothetical today. But whatever, we're not going to talk about that more. The Clipper game against the Pistons, though, James Harden scored 50 points on 14 for 24 shooting, 6 for 13 from deep, and 16 for 20 from the free throw line. And Zoo at 22 and 11, and Bogey. So there's been this trend that whenever Bogdan Bogdanovic plays well, we win, and whenever he doesn't play well, we don't win. It's been like things since this stretch. And honestly, since the Laker game, I'd say since this stretch began, really. But he's an X factor for this team, and I've mentioned that on Locked On several times. And by the way, if you want to see me talk about each of these games individually, I did do episodes on Locked On. Like, that's been up and running for the last 2 months. So I still have done basically every Clipper game this season, except for games from January 7th all the way to like mid-February, maybe. Thank you. My man Bones got busy coming in clutch again. There's the playlist, Dime Machine playlist. It's, all the Dime Machine film breakdowns or specific film breakdowns. Then I also have episodes just talking about those events at that time. I have a Gail Goodrich highlight reel. What's up, King Gucci Axe? What's up, Dimer? Andrew Kassar says, I think we'll be 6th or 7th at worst. So anyway, that win was absolutely huge. And before that game, we were only 3 games above 500, 32 and 29. Huge win. Great game to be at. James Harden looking like a beast. Then the next game, I wasn't able to be at this game, so all I have is a Locked On recap, but I didn't talk about it here. We played against the Knicks team that lost Jalen Brunson in a game against the Lakers. Should I touch on that game? Because I took notes of it, and it was a really entertaining game. But I think I might have to save that for a Lakers-centric episode because we don't have time for that. But let me know. If you guys want me to briefly go over that, the Jalen Brunson injury, the Laker game, because that was really interesting, you can tell me in the comments. But I'm going to just keep going for now. That was a good win. 105-95 against the Knicks. It didn't feel like too difficult of a game. Karl Anthony Towns was kept pretty in check with just 8 for 21 shooting from the field in that one. And then we got Kawhi back. He had 20 points. Didn't shoot well, though, at all. Nico, that was the Nico game. He was amazing. And you were starting to see at this point, I talked about on that Suns game, why is Nico Batum getting so few minutes? Why isn't he playing more? You know what I'm saying? There's been a theory, my boy Adam, radio host, he says that maybe they've been planning to use him for the playoffs, limit his minutes till the end of the season. And it looked like at this point, like as of that Knicks game, we're like, okay, we're starting to ramp it up. He's starting now, played 34 minutes, had 17 points on 6 for 9 shooting, and was 5 for 7 from 3. James Harden still had 27 points. So that was a really solid game. And Bogey was 4 for 9 from the field, 8 points, 12 rebounds. Really solid win there. And that got us that second win in a row. Now, continuing on the trend of really quickly covering these games that I didn't talk about here. Then we played against Sacramento, and I didn't get to go to this game because at this point I was doing a bunch of all-star practices and stuff like that for the tournament. Both my teams were eliminated. The girls' team was an overachiever. We weren't even supposed to win a game, but the boys' team was one of my rare coaching jobs where I completely underachieved. I'm not here to talk about that, though. There's a lot of things I could say, but it was very unfortunate that that run came to an end quick. But that Sacramento game was definitely a FOMO game. Like, I wish I was there. Kawhi Leonard game winner after having a really rough shooting game, 7 for 19. But Zoo was amazing, 22 and 14 on 9 for 14 shooting, crazy double-double. And then the position that we were in was because of James Harden down the stretch of that game that gave Kawhi that opportunity. I was honestly surprised. And this was, I believe, Brian Shaw's first game. Tyronn Lue went home before the game because of back pain, and that's begun a new narrative for us about Brian Shaw that I'll talk about a little later. But in this particular game, I didn't notice anything different. I thought it was a pretty bold call and a good call to give it ended up being a good call to give Kawhi Leonard the ball for that last possession, even though James Harden was the one that kind of got us back in the game, that kind of got us back going again, or kept us in the game. And we went with Kawhi, and he made an insane game winner, left hand game winner. Like that, the amount of skill it takes to make that shot in a crowd, not many dudes in NBA history could make that shot. So it's a testament to Kawhi Leonard as a scorer. He goes 7 for 19, 1 for 7 from 3, shot from, like, didn't even shoot well from the free throw line, 2 for 4, and he makes the game-winning shot in overtime to beat Sacramento. And it was a topsy-turvy game. It was a game that felt like we had, and then we didn't look. It felt like we didn't have, and we came back at the end and tied it. Made that run at the end of regulation. Bogdanovic, though, another good game. He had 9 points on 60% shooting and made his only 3. I think that's solid. It goes in line with the whole he's the X factor thing. Whenever he plays well, we win. Nico, 9 points on 3 for 3 shooting, and all those shots were threes, and played 28 minutes. So again, continuing with the trend of Nico playing. And mind you, the reason why I mentioned the Knicks game and his minutes there is because Ty Lue, before he got hurt, was starting to play him more anyway and started him. That was Ty Lue. It was not Brian Shaw. But my point of the game there is Kawhi made his 3rd game winner as a Clipper. The other one was against the Charlotte Hornets in 2023, where he faced up, jabbed, pulled right over the top. And then the other one was a go-ahead shot against the Rockets with, I believe, like 15 seconds left in the game, but people don't remember it as well because it wasn't like under 10 seconds. But 3 game winners as a Clipper. Paul George had, I'm going to think how many game winners he had. I made a video about that. I did it. Paul George is his more game winners. He had that one against the Thunder, this is his first year. And then he had one against the Houston Rockets. He had one against the Warriors and the Cavs. So he has 4, and then he had a game-tying shot. And then Reggie Jackson has 3, I believe. He has the Detroit game in Detroit. He has the Orlando game. And I believe he has one more, but and the Laker game. So he has as many as Kawhi as well. So anyway. So big win for us there. That was 3 wins in a row from 32 and 29 to 35 and 29. But the only thing I'll say is Kawhi still wasn't shooting very well. Then we went to New Orleans about 2 weeks ago and lost, and we could not play defense. Now let me see. Oh, I have some notes on that Kings game, by the way, but nothing. Bogey's defense wasn't very good, but there's nothing too much to say. Now, Clippers against the Pelicans. This has been an annoying ass thing for us where we can't beat these guys no matter what version of them we're getting. It's one of our worst losses in the last month. It's probably our worst loss of the last month. We lost that 127 to 120. I think it was 15 days ago. And obviously I haven't talked about it at all besides Locked On, so I want to just touch on it. But I mean, we have major trouble guarding Zion. Major. Now, it's not going to matter going forward because we're not going to see them ever again. But we have major trouble guarding Zion. It caused 2 on the ball every time. And we got off to a horrible start, down 10-2. And we were just like playing from behind. Although I will say this, Kawhi Leonard had a really solid game in this one. Really solid game. Especially in the first quarter. He had 9 points. And James Harden was really bad in the first quarter on both ends. But the way the game ended was when we were missing shots, we were playing horrible transition defense. That was the takeaway for me. We were down 20 points at one point in the second quarter, 43-23. And when Zoo was out of the game, they went on a 12-0 run. So that's something that's constant now, and it still is happening right now, is like, we have trouble in the non-Zoo minutes a lot. And it happened the other night. When Zoo and Harden came out of the game, we struggled immensely with OKC. And it was not much different, in this game. So 127 to 120 loss to the New Orleans Pelicans. James Harden really got going, especially in that third quarter. Harden was hitting step backs. Kawhi was hitting threes. Harden really got going to end that second quarter, and we closed on a 15-4 run after being down by as many as 21. So, we went into the second half with some momentum, but, still down by 10, still down by 8 going into the fourth. Harden had a really bad stretch at the end of the third. And we just were bricking shots that led to transition for them. Our role guys were missing open threes. Their role guys were spraying open threes. And this was still a period where teams were shooting outlier from 3 against us. But we went on a little run. But at the end of the game, 23 second chance points will not, that'll cost you a game. There was a possession where Chris Dunn and Ivica Zubac didn't get a big rebound and led to a McCollum 3. And then Kawhi, one time he should have passed to Derek Jones, and instead he airballed and didn't stop Zion in transition and then Harden didn't stop Zion in transition on the ensuing play. But yeah, it was just a rough ending. And the free throws, I think that's something that killed us in that game. Derek Jones missed a free throw late. Zoo missed a free throw late. Kawhi missed a free throw late. Harden had a turnover. It wasn't a good ending to the game. So we lost that one 127 to 120. And then we had a 3-game road trip in the South: New Orleans, Miami, Atlanta. The Miami game, honestly, was a very solid performance. Very solid performance. Took care of them. Honestly, no problem. I do not seem to have notes for that game, but Bogdan Bogdanovic, that was really the bogey game. Started in place of Kawhi. Because it was a back-to-back, so Kawhi was going to play against Atlanta. He had 30 points. I'm sorry, he played against New Orleans, but Bogey had 30 points and 10 rebounds. His highest scoring game as a Clipper at that time, 11 for 16 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. James Harden did a little bit of everything, and he had a really great stretch in the second half of that one. He had 24, 8, and 11, and then Zoo was just dominating Bam Adebayo. I talked about it on Locked On, but he totally dominated him. It looked like Zoo has surpassed him as a player, but you know how I always say, Dime Dropper fam, that I don't change my rankings till we get to the playoffs. That's when I change things after the season, because I want to see you against high-level competition when it matters. But Zubac absolutely outplayed him, 26 and 14 for Zoo in that game on 12 for 16 shooting. And we also got 13 points off the bench from Amir Coffey and Derek Jones Jr. with 8 points off the bench. So really solid game there for us. And, we talk about the Clippers 3-point shooting not being that good. There was a stretch right here where it started being really good. We started shooting really well. And a lot of that was because of Bogey. We shot 59% in the Miami game, 48% from 3. And Tyler Hero had 31 points. But besides that, we had him under control. Of course, they don't have Jimmy Butler anymore. They were able to hang around, but we pulled away, and I thought that was a really solid win. And then you talk about the Atlanta game, where we beat them 121 to 98, complete domination. And for me, this was a lot of James being really, really good. Kawhi looking better defensively. You're starting to see Kawhi Leonard look more like himself on the defensive end. In this one, we were actually down at halftime by 8 points, but we outscored them in the third quarter 35-8. I repeat, 35-8. And it started with our defense. Chris Dunn doing a great job on Trae Young. It led to them missing, which allowed us to get in transition. James Harden had 25, 8, and 7. You listen to the stats he's putting up in this stretch: 25, 8, and 7. Kawhi had 25, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 steals. And here's what I love to see: 11 for 21 from the field. Another 20-plus minute game for Nico Batum. Another double-figure game for Nico Batum with 11 points and 7 rebounds. And he started yet again. And then our bench: 14 from Derek Jones Jr., 12 from Bogey in his return. Another game where he played well, we win. Amir Coffey, 12 off the bench. So we had 3 guys in double figures off the bench, 4 guys in double figures in the starting lineup, 18 points on 8 for 9 shooting for Zoo, which is insane. Unfortunately, his double-double streak came to an end in this game, but really solid win, getting 2 out of those 3 games in the South. We will absolutely take that. And the main thing there after the Atlanta game that I was saying was Kawhi is starting to trend in the right direction. The New Orleans game was a good scoring game, looked a little better defensively. Same with this Atlanta game. And James Harden's starting to find like this second wind in March. And then we played Charlotte at the crib on the 16th. Now, originally this game was supposed to happen on January 11th, and that's when everything was hitting the fan with the fires and all that. But I did take some notes on this game, and James Harden got off to a hot start. Kawhi had 3 deflections early on in the game, showing great activity. We went on a 15-5 run when the Hornets started to miss because the Hornets are not good. It was just LaMelo Ball, but no Brandon Miller, no, anything. No Brandon Miller. They were starting a guy named Daquan Jeffries that I'd never even heard of. 5th season in the what? In the NBA? He's in the NBA. I guess he has been. Wow. He just never gotten minutes anywhere. It's crazy. I don't know players now. Like I used to know every player in the league just because I just searched up rosters, but there's like some guys on the other bench I don't even know. Daquan Jeffries. Yeah, no disrespect to Daquan Jeffries. Bogey looked great in this game, though. We went on a 13-2 run in the second quarter, led by Kawhi and Zoo. James Harden was absolutely dominating. Derrick Jones Jr. was great on both ends. Also, this was the return of Norman Powell, but he didn't start the second half, and he was extremely rusty. 3 for 14 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3. And this is what I have to say about Norm. Norm, he it's gonna need some time to get back to the norm that we were seeing in the first half of the season. Now, will he average 22 points a game with a healthy Kawhi Leonard and with Kawhi starting to trend in the direction that he's trending in? Probably not. He's going to average less than that. He's going to have to sacrifice again, but obviously more than what we saw last season because he's essentially in the Paul George role. So he should be averaging like 18, 19 still, and we haven't gone to that point. He was not average, but he shot 3 for 13 in this game against the Hornets with 7 points. Nico Batum, by the way, got moved to the bench for Derrick Jones Jr. So I don't know, but he still was a plus 26 in the Charlotte game. But I don't think that's because he did anything wrong. I think that's just Derrick has started most of the year. So we got him back into form. Kawhi had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block in that one on 9 for 16 shooting and 3 for 4 from 3. So starting to trend back in that right direction. That's 3 straight games where he's looked really good offensively. And then Zoo dominating again. It's becoming a thing where he's dominating nightly. It's not like he's playing well nightly. He's actually looks dominant some games. That left-hand jump hook, I said for a while he needed to get that in his game. Now he has that. It's crazy. 17, 14, and 8 for Zoo on 7 for 14 shooting in that one. And then Harden, virtuoso performance, 31 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals on 9 for 15 shooting and 4 for 7 from 3, looking amazing. And then Bogey with an efficient 7 points on 3 for 4 shooting. Continues to play well. We continue to win. James Harden playing amazing. At that point, that was 4 wins in a row? No. That was 3 wins in a row. But at that point, 6 out of our last 7 games wins. Hit the like button. Yes, sir. My boy Adam. What's going on, guys? So now we are almost at the current day. I appreciate you for being patient with me here. By the way, had Law Murray on Locked On Clippers last night to talk about James Harden's status. So go check that out as well. I see he and Adam are doing the pregame show right now. It's tough. I don't mean to go live at the same time as Adam and compete for views. It's just, I haven't been live in a while and I just got to. But everybody can always watch both me and Adam. I know a lot of people do that after it happens. Obviously, I'm not employed by the team, so I have other obligations. But, he's definitely beat me in the consistency department. That's for sure now. All love for Adam, of course. Now, Cleveland. That was our best win of the season. Another game that I wasn't able to attend because I was doing coaching and stuff. But guys, I really, really wanted to be at this one. What a game, what a performance. Probably our best performance of the entire season. It was the closest that we've gotten to we have a good offensive team. We're not just a great defensive team, we're a great offensive team too, or a good offensive team too. By the way, in the last 10 games before, I haven't checked after the last game or two, but going into, I believe, the Grizzlies game, we were 3rd in offensive rating in the last 10 games league-wide. 3rd, 10th in defense. So if we could be top 10 in both, that's what makes you a championship contender. Usually, statistically, it's if you're top 10 in both ratings. But this was a really impressive performance. The way we defended Donovan Mitchell, held him to 5 for 18 shooting and 2 for 9 from 3. A lot of those were, good looks that he missed in that second half, but we made life tough for him. And then the way we just poured it on them offensively, and it begins with Kawhi. This was the first game this season where I was like, had that feeling that I've had watching Kawhi when he's had a long stretch of being healthy as a Clipper, where I'm just like, yo, he's so fucking good. And I have not had one moment saying that this season until the Cavs game. I was like, yo, is he back? Like, is he really back? Go check out my Locked On after that day. I was like beaming because I was like, look, just because I'm not a fan of Kawhi Leonard anymore doesn't mean that I don't want him to be healthy. Let's just make that very clear. I'm not a Kawhi guy in terms of like I love the way he plays, but like everybody knows how I feel about the way he's been as a Clipper. I think it's been it's just like a disgraceful tenure, not the injury part, but like there are certain things in there, like the going to the Olympics potentially. It's just like really, like you care about getting the gold medal. That what about us? What about the people that you're like? What about the team that's paying you? Like that you haven't been healthy for, and you want to go to the Olympics? You thought you were good? Like that's not a good enough excuse from you, because the thing is, you're putting yourself at risk playing in high intensity games for a gold medal. That shows a little bit of a more, you care about yourself more than the franchise. And again, people are going to say, of course they do. Well, that's not how I felt with CP3 and Blake. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to use this as an opportunity to do the Kawhi thing again. Everybody knows how I feel on this channel. I can talk about it more and freely with, not the same kind of like judgment from Kawhi stands that have happily driven away from this channel. But like, I don't want Kawhi to be injured. Like, I want Kawhi to at least have a healthy playoffs for us. Like, if this entire Clipper tenure and all that we've sacrificed happens and we don't have one healthy Clipper Kawhi run, we haven't had one with real fans. It would be a complete disappointment. Of course, I want to see him be healthy once. Come on. Like, and 33 points. This was his highest scoring game yet. 33 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Well, he's had 33 against the Lakers too, but this was his best game. He was just everywhere in this one. When he's working Evan Mobley like that, and Evan Mobley's like defensive player of the year candidate level, like that's when you know he's Kawhi again. And James Harden put Evan Mobley in the blender too. When you see the likes of James Harden and Kawhi, who in their peak forms could score on anyone in the league, like you can't go one-on-one. You have to bring help. And a lot of times it is like that still for them. But against the likes of Evan Mobley, like the other defenders are not going to help like that. They're going to trust Evan to guard one-on-one. And when you see Kawhi and Harden putting him in the blender like that, it's like that's when you know they're there because nobody can guard them. Kawhi with 33, 7, 4, and 4. That's 4 steals, 12 for 19 shooting, 5 for 6 from 3, 4 for 4 from the line. How about Ivica Zubac, who added Jarrett Allen to the list of centers that he's absolutely dominated this season? Complete domination. 28 and 20 in that game. Zushak. I mean, absolute beast. It's amazing how good he is. And I remember during the Suns game, I said we should trade him potentially. I still stand by the take of after the season, his value is going to be so high potentially that we should consider it if we want to rebuild, or retool, if we want to go a different direction. And it hurts me because he's my favorite player on the team, but he's so good. I just don't want him to waste his years being like having to do this, like wait for Kawhi to be healthy and stuff. Like he deserves a lot, in my opinion. And he deserves a better contract than what he has. His contract is absurd for how good he is. It's like completely absurd. So anyway, all right. 3 former Clippers on the Knicks. Sheesh. Bones got busy says. Who would those be? Landry Shamet? I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head. Landry Shamet. Who am I forgetting? We didn't have OG. We didn't have Josh Hart. Why are you not at the watch party? Because I wanted to do something like this, and it's very productive for me to catch up with Clippers talk. And I have to fix my car. I don't think I should be going long distances so much. So that's why. I'd appreciate you, Yelly. Are you Yelly from the last video? By the way, again, check out the vlog. But that was an amazing performance. And then Harden, he didn't shoot well. He was 5 for 18 and 2 for 11 from 3. But he had 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists in that Cavs game. So, and then Bogey had 20 and was 8 for 8 from the field and 4 for 4 from 3. I mean, insane. Like we were just, and it was nothing crazy to talk about in terms of play calling. People want to talk about Brian Shaw is so much better as a coach or whatever. The only thing he did was he started Bogey to begin the third quarter, which I thought was a cool adjustment. Now, we don't know if Ty Lue's making that call from behind the scenes either, though. It's not like Ty Lue has no say. He's going over the game plan with them on Zoom or whatever. Like, you guys think that these guys have like a complete mind of their own, their complete philosophy of their own. The same thing when people say with Luke Walton, coached the Warriors in 2015-16 when Kerr had that injury. Like, it's the same system. These are figureheads. They're puppets. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Brian Shaw does his team talks a bit different, but like sets and stuff, like there's a coaching staff behind these people. There's other cooks in the kitchen. People act like the head coach has so much power in the NBA. The head coach in the NBA is one of the most overstated positions in professional sports, in my opinion. You don't have as much because like my friend, go check out my first Dime Dropper featuring episode. And Dime Dropper featuring is when we have a guest that was either in the NBA sphere or the WNBA sphere, or NCAA, or in professional sports. My friend Will Johnson, who's Marcus Johnson's grandson, he played on Oregon with Peyton Pritchard and with, those teams right after Dylan Brooks left. And he talked to me about this, not on that show, but he's one of my best friends. We talk all the time. And he's like, people don't understand what assistant coaches do, like how much more they actually talk to the players, how much they work. And they get no love in the NBA sphere as modern fans, or as not modern, just fans in general. We never talk about staffs. We always talk about, and it's always good for a coach. Like we say, oh, Jeff Van Gundy's done all this good, but we never blame him for anything wrong. It's always Ty Lue's the fall guy. The head coach is the fall guy. And of course, if you're the head coach, you're going to get more blame. But like, did the Clippers do anything scheme-wise that was that different with Shaw in that Cavs game? They did not. We just shot super well from the field, and we started to shoot super well from three. And a lot of that's bogey. 55% from the field, 46% from three in that game, and 86% from the line. The bogey stuff, I mean, he continues to play well, and we continue to win when he does. It's amazing. And then Ben Simmons returned. Derrick Jones Jr. had 10 points off the bench. So it's been back and forth when he and Chris Dunn starting and coming off the bench. But Derrick's been so good just this whole season. And then Norm only played 18 minutes in this one, 11 points. We did score in double figures and was 3 for 6 from the field and 4 for 4 from the foul line. But still, with just 18 minutes, it's not quite the same. You know what I mean? It's not quite the same. Actually, no, I was wrong. We didn't even start the second half with Bogey. We started the second half with Norm in the Cavs game. So wrong about that. So nothing. I mean, we just played amazing. 37-point first quarter. We were still down by 8. But the 17 points we allowed in the fourth quarter, that was huge. And then we had 31 in the second, 38 in the third, 26 in the fourth. So 4 quarters of 26 or more points. That's going to be a recipe for success. But anyway, then we had the Memphis game, which, again, I was not able to attend. And it was our 5th straight win. We won by 20, 128-108. Another game where John Morant just does not play against the Clippers in L.A. Just kidding. I think he was injured, but he never plays against the Clippers in L.A. Never. We blew them off the floor. It was fairly easy. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr., we held to 9 for 24 shooting. It was James Harden being amazing. And honestly, this month for James has been ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, Norm looked a little better getting to the paint, but his 3-ball still has not caught up yet. Although in this game, you couldn't really tell. This was a really solid balance for us, I think. We outscored them we won the game 128-108. 14 points for Norm on 4 for 8 shooting and 1 for 2 from 3 in 27 minutes. This is still Brian Shaw, interim coach, but James Harden was just amazing. I thought he was my player of the game. 30 points I thought he was the player of the game. 30 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. So a little bit of everything. Had a solid defensive game here in this one. He and Zoo both shot 8 for 14 from the field. James shot 5 for 10 from 3 and 9 for 10 from the free throw line. And Zoo, 17 and 10 and effortlessly walked to 17 and 10, 2 blocks to go along with that on 8 for 14 shooting. And another game where Bogey shoots well and we win. 16 points, 3 boards, 5 assists on 6 for 9 shooting and 4 for 5 from 3. And then Chris Dunn had 11 points on 4 for 8 shooting and 3 for 7 from 3. So like our entire starting lineup was in double figures. And then how about Kawhi? 23, 10, and 4. That's 4 assists on 9 for 12 shooting, 1 for 3 from deep, and 4 for 4 from the foul line. 57, 50, 81 splits as a team. So again, the 3-point shooting, that's to me, that's nothing to do with Brian Shaw. That is just Kawhi and Bogey mainly. And then of course, Harden being able to go 5 for 10. That is... And by the way, Nico Batum only played 12 minutes in that game, and everybody wants to start this narrative that Ty Lue coming back is why Nico didn't play much last game, which is crazy. But, I mean, Kawhi shooting 75%. Like, he is starting to look like Kawhi. It's scary. We just need Norman Powell to start looking like Norman Powell. But we're trending in the right direction. Having Ben Simmons back is nice as well, although in this game he was whatever. But Bogey, like, he continues to be lights out. And our offense, 128 points. And so this is where we're at now, right? The OKC game. The OKC game. But by the way, Bogey's been such a great fit. And even though I love Terrence Mann and everybody knows that I am a Terrence Mann like fan to the max, Bogey's better than him. Like, when Bogey's at his best, he's better than him. He is a better shooter, just a better offensive player in general, can create his own shot to a larger degree. Like, Bogey can actually kind of get his own shot. You know what I mean? Better than Norman Powell, honestly. I just think Norman Powell is so good at what he does that he's better than Bogey. But Bogey's better in the pick and roll. So, like, the gap between Bogey and Norm is really... Before this year, if you would ask me, what's the gap between Norm and Bogey? I would have said it's very close. Because Bogey's a better creator. But the point is that he can play off Harden so well because he doesn't have to have the ball in his hands. So, it poses the question, does Bogey's presence on this team make Norman Powell less valuable? And honestly, the answer to that is probably yes, but to what extent? I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, we should have Norm closing games on the bench unless he's playing awful. That's my opinion. So before we talk about the OKC game real quick, and then I'll let you guys go because we're going to get to the game. King Gucci says we definitely going to end the season 5th, 6th, 7th for sure. I hope so, because every single one of those seeds you just named has gotten into the playoffs. Because 7th seed is the plan, but whoever's been the 7th seed has gotten in to the playoffs. Ben Borlier, I can't talk about the Lakers-Knicks game. I'll talk about the state of the Lakers in a very similar video to this very soon, probably within the next 5 days or so, if I'm diligent. Clippers NBA Finals, Andrew says. Clippers championship is more important than getting married. Saving Nico for playoffs? I've heard that theory, old man Yen. Sorry for the audio people answering some comments right now. Hold on, I'm just going to stop the audio real quick. Everyone got trouble guarding Zion. Yo, Don, what's up, Shaft? Says, where's the reacts? Need my fix of... it's like, I am reacting. I'm just not reacting like that. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on Brian Shaw's coaching. I hope you already have heard it. Hit the like button, fellas. What's going on, Adam? Sup, Dime from Sacramento. What's going on, BK? We're back to exactly what's up, Dumpring. We're back to exactly where we were the past 5 years. It all hinges on the claw. That's right. Tyler Kolek about to go crazy today, I fear. So happy that Harden is playing. Dude wasn't lying when he said he'll rest when the season's over. Yeah, Harden's an Iron Man. In that Cavs game, it's when his Kawhi hit back-to-back step-back threes. And when he's healthy, that's when. In that third quarter, dude was going ISO mode on the whole Cavs team. Almost forgot the Knicks Cup. Oh, yeah, PJ Tucker. The 3 ex-Clippers were PJ Tucker, Shamit, and Marjan Beauchamp. Harden's been great, but I'm worried he's going to run out of gas, says Dumpring. Pitbull 299 says, Brian Shaw, coach of the year, yo. That first quarter was loco. No defense. You're funny. Amin Asan says, that Cavs game reminded me of the Kings game that went to double overtime. Really? Metal Slug 26 says, us Clips fans get really emotional after a loss and scapegoat tie. Facts. Pitbull 299 says, I was at that Kings game. Kept thinking we were going to break record for points scored in a regular season game. Yeah, me too, bro. That was a great vlog. Go check that one out. Bones got busy. If you're still here, post it. Dime, are we winning tonight? Yes. Beat the Knicks, get that 6th seed. Dime, are you going to do a play-by-play stream? No. T-Man, game 6. Don't downplay our franchise guy. I'm not, of course, come on. If we win today, we have the 6th seed. Oh, that's huge. Norm looks fat right now. He'll be fine. Heat did us a favor yesterday. Darian could do AM 570. Nothing against Noah Eagle or Carlo Jimenez. Damn, bro. You pronounced it correct. Come on, bro. Subs and timeouts are the main thing in game that differentiates head coaching from staff. I agree. Shaw looked flawless. Okay. I feel that. What's up, Gene? What's prediction for tonight? I'd say let's go 111, 103 Clips. Did you see Bones on live? No. Harden at the Garden in 3 minutes. Yes. Yo, Dime, you are an awesome coach. How do you know that? But I appreciate that. But how do you know that? Anyway, let's finish off by talking about the OKC game that we just played. By the way, there's a vlog of that game on my channel. I don't know why we're not checking it out. But OKC's a great team. I mean, we held SGA to 7 for 29 shooting. But we made a couple of big mistakes down the stretch, and there are very fine margins when you want to win games against teams like that. You know what I mean? Very fine margins. We had a great first quarter. Harden was doing his pick and roll thing. I thought we had the best balance yet of throw it to Zoo down low, get it to Kawhi and get him going, with 7 first quarter points. Harden does his pick and roll thing. And we have Norm run some plays for Norm to come off his curls, come off his screens. That was a great balance in that first quarter. And then Ben Simmons came in and had 2 beautiful layups. And I thought Derrick Jones and Chris Dunn were doing a great job at SGA. We were up by 10 points, making other guys beat us. But then in the second quarter, we got outscored 33-17. Bogey was bricking. And immediately when he started missing shots, I was like, uh-oh, if my theory continues that whenever Bogey doesn't play well, we lose, we're going to lose this game. And we did. Let's see what Bogey shot. 1 for 6 and 0 for 3 from deep. 2 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals. It was not a great performance by Bogey. But, I mean, he's kind of entitled to a bad game. What else? The non-Zoo minutes. I thought when SGA came out of the game, we had to take advantage. But the second Zoo and Harden came out, we could not do anything. And it became Kawhi and Norm struggling to initiate offense. And, Norm's not a great initiator of offense, and Kawhi isn't either, to be honest. He has tunnel vision, doesn't make quick enough reads. He doesn't see the open man quickly enough, and it's been pre-injury. It's not just after injury. He's always been like this. He's not as good of a passer as some of the all-time great small forwards that he's in the same conversation with, in my opinion. But he's a better we know what he's better than. He's better than them in a lot of things, but passing is not one. But when Harden and Zoo were out, really rough stretch, and it got the Thunder back in the game, even without SGA. They went on a 15-0 run to get back in the game. Thankfully, Kawhi still hit some mid-ranges. Norm couldn't hit a jumper, but the thing that allowed the Thunder to go into halftime with momentum last game was second chance points. So that's something I'm going to be watching tonight is, can we finish possessions with a rebound? You've got Cat, you've got Josh Hart. The Knicks are one of the best offensive rebounding teams of the last couple of years. So how disciplined are we boxing out? You know what I'm saying? How disciplined are we on long misses? Can Zubats, when he switched on to somebody on a late switch on the perimeter, is he going to box that guy out, or is he just going to run in the paint anticipating a shot's going to land right there? We need to all collectively put bodies on guys tonight because they are a great offensive rebounding team. But we were struggling in the third quarter to guard without fouling. We were down by 6 going into the half because of the offensive rebounds that we allowed. And then obviously Harden had the injury scare, and the fact that he's playing tonight after limping so much in the locker room is another testament to the Iron Man nature of him. He's only missed 3 games this season, and one of them he wasn't even injured. It was the rest because he had played so much. So he's only load managed or been load managed, because I don't want to make it seem like he's wanting to do it. He's only been load managed 1 or 2 games. I know 1, but I don't even know if it was more than 1 game. He's missed only 3. The fact that he's playing tonight, it's a testament to how much he loves to play and his availability. And after criticizing Paul George and Kawhi a lot of times for not being available, I definitely appreciate Harden in that respect, of course. His longevity is very understated. The fact that even after the hamstring injury, he's able to play at such a high level. Of course, that has a lot to do with modern surgeries, modern medicine, and all that. But even for his era, his longevity is fantastic. If you compare it to all time, incredible. But you're going to start seeing guys be good for longer now with just the society, around injury prevention and practices and what we don't do anymore. But Kawhi started to look better on both ends. He continues to look better defensively, which is great, especially his off-ball awareness, because that's his weakness more so than on-ball. Teams don't even want to go at Kawhi on-ball. They never want to put Kawhi in the action. So he had a nice sequence where he had a block shot and did a layup on the other end that made it 68-70 and caused the timeout. But the second chance points were killing us. We were not making our open threes either. It was finally a game where we regressed back to the norm when it comes to the 3-ball. We shot 43% from the field. They shot 40. We shot 31% from 3. So we did not shoot well from there. 8 for 26. They shot 12 for 35. Now, what made this game be very controversial was it was the first game we got Ty Lue back and we lost. But again, we're playing against the 60-win Thunder. They're 60-12 right now. I know they didn't have Chet or J-Dub, which is embarrassing why we lost, or the fact that we lost with that, but sorry. Ty Lue, that stuff is a little overstated to me. However, he did make some mistakes. He burned that last time out when we were underneath our own basket. For what reason? I don't know. We knew the game was going to probably come down to the wire. and we didn't. Nico Batum only got 5 minutes in the game, back to like not getting minutes again. Why? I don't understand. 0 shots put up, 0 stat in any category except for personal fouls for Nico. Derrick Jones Jr. was good. He played 26 minutes and had 9 points and 4 rebounds off the bench. Ben Simmons had 8 points and 7 rebounds off the bench. Amir Coffey, 9 points on 3 for 5 shooting and 0 for 2 from 3 off the bench, but I don't know, he was just okay. Kawhi was our best performer, 25 and 10 on 10 for 20 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3 and 3 for 4 from the foul line. He did miss the chance to go ahead, though, in the game with that last shot that Caruso did a really good job on. Got away with some hand checking, but whatever. The Thunder get away with a lot of physicality, a lot. Lou Dort, he's so fucking dirty, man. But another 25-point game for Kawhi and efficient shooting. So, like, these are really good signs. Harden had a bad game, finally. I mean, he's been amazing this month, but he had a bad game. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 for 14 from the field, and 2 for 6 from 3. Did shoot 7 for 8 from the foul line, though. He had some really crucial turnovers down the stretch, and fell asleep on that Caruso 3 that gave him the lead, 100-99. But yeah, we burned our last time out. That was a huge mistake. Norm, I think, honestly, if I had to blame one individual, though, more than any, it would be Norm. He had so many good looks from 3, and he just didn't get any big shots to fall. 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal for Norm on 4 for 12 shooting and 1 for 6 from 3. If I'm looking at anything tonight, can we get Norm to hit threes again? If he can hit multiple threes in a game, he hasn't hit multiple threes in a game since the Utah game. Law Murray pointed that out to me last night. Like, 4 for 12. He and Harden shot 8 for 26 in the last game. So I'm not expecting as much from Harden just given the injury, but Norm needs to make shots. But here's the beauty of it all, right? Clipper Nation, despite that last loss, we're 40-31. We got 11 games left. Miami gave us some help last night. Zubats had 15 and 11 last game, so it wasn't the best game for him, even though that's crazy to say that with that stat line, but he was 4 for 10 and he usually shoots better than that. But here's what I'm going to say. In the last 10 games, or in the month of March, in the month of March, James Harden's averaging 26, 6, and 9.5 assists. 26 points, 6 rebounds, and 9.5 assists, and a steal a game on 43, 36.5, 85 shooting splits. He's been amazing. It's been arguably his best month of the entire season. Actually, I'm not even going to argue it. It has been his best month of the entire season in March, which was his worst month last season. So it's amazing what he's doing. It really is. Even though I'm not a Harden fan like that, it is amazing what he's doing, and he's been a great Clipper. I'm never going to change my opinion of his game because his game is going to stay the same, and I can't fucking stand watching it. Even when I'm about to turn on TV right now, I'm not looking forward to it because I hate watching him play. But he has been a great Clipper, and I really do appreciate the commitment to being on the court every night and doing the stuff he's done with fans. He's been really great in that regard, so I really don't have shade for Harden the person at all. I just don't like the way he plays basketball. Is that so hard not to understand? Anyway, Kawhi, on the other hand, he, in his month of March, is starting to average Kawhi stats. So what am I saying, Clipper Nation? Can we win the championship? No. Our seed is not high enough. Can we win a couple of rounds? Maybe. I think the next step is let's just secure a spot in the playoffs. That would be nice. If we get the 6th seed, sky's the limit. Just avoid the Lakers, please. That's it. I don't want to have to deal with their fans. I don't want to have to deal with overpriced tickets. I don't want to have to deal with half their fans coming to our stadium for every game and it not having like one home game. I don't want to deal with heart attacks. But let's get in the playoffs. And a huge win tonight would be help to that. 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals a game for Kawhi this month. 25, 7, 3, and 2 on 52, 40, 77.5 splits. The only problem there is the free throw shooting. He needs to get it back to 80 plus. But 52, 40, that's the Kawhi Leonard I know and love. 25 points a game. I love to watch. So just know we're getting close. Every game matters for us. I will not be live tonight. But it said definitely check out that Bones live, Ben Borlier says. I will not be live tonight, but because I need to do I have a chance to do Locked On right after this, and I didn't do a Locked On episode today, so I'm going to release my today episode tonight. So I won't be able to go live. But I'm going to do one of these for the Lakers because I haven't covered their games in a little bit as well. So I have to do one of them for them. And then maybe we'll talk about Clippers, Knicks, Dime Dropper Live tomorrow. I'm going to try to, probably not tomorrow, maybe Friday. But let's see. Any last comments? Dort's playing football, winnable game, big mistakes, but no J-Dub and Chet. Shaft says 105-100 Clippers tonight. Book it. Amin Hassan says in that OKC game, there was no reason we should have allowed a 15-0 run in those non-SGA minutes. Dumpring says Bones was basically saying Russ felt disrespected by the coaching staff and organization after Harden came. Completely feel that. And Amin also says, I feel like we kind of get lazy rebounding like I see at times. We don't go after loose balls. Yeah, a lot of that is want to. Pitbull 299 backs it up saying, yes, so much ball watching on those rebounds. And then let's see. Last comment saying, big game today. Let's get this dub. Clippers title will solve all life problems. Andrew Kassar says. Dumpring says, wow, Harden's playing. Pitbull 299 says, not enough boxing out. Even my coach would yell about that. Oh, trust me, don't even get me started. Roger Rabbit says more but 2 minutes maybe. Bones got busy says another solid Ben 2-5 game would be great. Shaft 9000 says, I give us a 3.75% chance of winning it all. Wilder things happen. Not really, though. No wilder thing in NBA history has happened than the Clippers winning a championship with a 7 seed or 6 seed record. That nothing has ever. The other ones that won that didn't have any series with home court were all defending champs. Fire Ty, hire Sean Van Gundy. No. Batum got to get more than 5 minutes. He's a good rebounder too, says Pitbull 299. Pair him with Simmons. I think he already does get paired with Simmons a lot because that's small ball. Shaft 9000 says Plumber Jim going to work today after getting dorted. Pitbull 299 says Dort day to day after dorting himself. Carmo Mofo. Love the new Intuit Dome. Balmer's a baller, yo, says Pitbull. Shaft 9000 says Harden ups our winning ugly quotient. Gene Kim says, hoping Batum gets some big minutes tonight and shuts Cat down. I agree, man. It's going to be a big Batum game. But I think that's about time for the game, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Go Clippers. And appreciate you all for tuning into this recap of the last 10 games I've missed. I always want to give you guys something on each game because I pride myself on that. Every single game for your LA Clippers. And, of course, those of you who are Laker fans, your Los Angeles Lakers, even though we know where my allegiance lies right here with the red, white, and blue of the Clips. Go Clips. I will talk to you guys tomorrow and on Locked On tonight.